Ghost Cult Magazine is pleased to welcome in Malcolm Brixkhouse. How are you doing, Malcolm?
I'm doing really well.
Awesome, man. I love to hear it. It's been a minute.
That was a bullshit answer, but that's what works in society. But
I feel you. I genuinely care. I hope you're well. It's a crazy time in the world. I hope your family's good, your friends, your partners in music and everything, because it's crazy.
Overall, I'm chilling. It could be worse.
It could be. We're gonna be okay collectively.
Right.
It's just been a mess. At least you have youth on your side. I feel like a lot. Listen, we're here. We're glad. I'm glad to be here at all. A lot of people are not. It's great to catch up with you. I met you years ago when Unlocking the Truth opened for Living Color when I lived in Boston.
That's crazy.
Like at the Paradise Rock Club, one of the most famous rock clubs in America. It was wild. Followed your career very closely since, all the Unlocking stuff, and now your solo project and I'm really excited. You have new video and single out. You've been dropping singles for a while. Even during the pandemic, it seems like you've been working extra hard.
I would say I've been saving music since 2018. Salem, how long do you think I've been saving music?
Like 4 years.
4 years, right? More, like 4.5, right? Yeah, like a long time. Rapture is like 2 years old.
Because you dropped a couple of things also over time, right? Since the end of Unlocking. So would you say that the new music you're making is still representative of this sound, or are you even taking it further with your new stuff?
So I'm a very open person, whatever. So the real truth is that basically I got a lot of lessons. Like when Johnny K produced our first album, I don't know if you know who that is. You know Johnny K?
Yep, sure. He produced Disturbed and Seven Dust.
Right. So he produced Chaos for us, our first album. And I studied him extremely. Like I paid attention to everything he was doing. And that's how I started learning how to make my own music, how to like record at home. So at some point, I just decided to start just writing a bunch of songs, and I realized this process. And over time, I got better at mixing and stuff like that. So that's how it came about, like writing, like producing all by myself. And for the last like 4 singles, I wrote myself and like all by myself. So Mama, Pretend, Come Closer, and My Chains, they were still under Unlocking the Truth, but I basically started there. That's like when my solo career started.
Right on, that makes sense. I think the very end of Unlocking the Truth, there was probably a track or two in there that had a hint of where you might go.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm digging it. First of all, it's challenging for anybody to make it in the music business. It's well-documented story about, the band, and I was a fan and I supported you guys. And, I know that you have been sort of bucking up against this idea that it was, a novelty. I know that, it was important to you to be taken seriously as an artist. And I'm sure that's kind of guiding some of the stuff now. People change, people's tastes change, you grow, you change, you grew up in front of everybody, which is impossible, to have your adolescence in front of people while you're on stages and, doing appearances and stuff. So props to you for handling all that, because, a lot of people don't make it through even just that. But I find
I barely made it through that.
Well, I hope you're okay, man. It's a lot, and I don't think people really appreciate that. There's been a lot of bands, historically that started very young, and it's not called the music friendship band. It's called the music business, and it can be ruthless, and it does chew people up and spit them out. So I'm glad you're still here.
If you generally love music, you'll keep doing it.
Definitely.
I've been songs in my head since I was 5 years old.
Right on.
Something I have to do.
And you formed Unlocking the Truth when you guys were like 7 and 9, right? Something crazy early.
I'm crazy early like that, yeah.
That's wild. But in the meantime, man, like obviously this is a whole different animal. And I think you've worked very hard to kind of explain that to people, without having to spell it out for them too much. Like, hey, this is me now, me today, not 7, 8 years ago when I was younger and starting out, which I love that stuff. And, I wonder if, sometimes not only are people unfair when any band is brand new, but especially youngsters. And then now you're an adult. Do you find that people are, generally receptive? Are you just making a whole new group of fans for this new, era? Or what do you think it is?
My goal really is to, I really don't care about what the old metalheads say. Like, of course they're not gonna like it. They don't like anything. Like, that's why metal is dead right now. They don't know how to move on. So I'm basically making music that I feel. And I know a lot of the kids of my generation feel the same way. And I kind of just want to make rock music. You know, I wanted to speak to the kids. I grew up on rock music, and I know it touched me in a kind of way. So I want to be able to do the same thing with rock music today. That's my goal. I just want to start it. I don't have to be the biggest artist ever. I just want to be able to start and show people, you know, even like as an African American, like, you know, meeting like kids at parties, like Black kids that like are obviously different outside the box. They think they know it's a bunch of piercings, telling me like I'm the reason why they like are brave enough to do whatever they're doing. Like if that's the impact I can have, like I guess my goal is to just, you know, show people that rock is being different is cool. Not even cool, like it's okay.
It's more than okay. It's your music too. It's everybody's music. It's not, you know, this doesn't belong to anybody. I'm often the first person to say that, like, you know, rock and metal is for everyone.
Right.
It's not always that way. There's some gatekeeping ass people out there, which I don't like. And I try not to do. I was in bands and they weren't good, but like I was in bands for a long time and I've been doing music journalism a long time. And I don't think if you don't dig something, there's another station with something for you. There's a lot of stuff out there for people to like. And if you don't like something, move on. And I never understand people who are just like, you know, I think there are a lot of people out here who saw you grow up and saw you rock as a young kid and now you're an adult. And there are a lot of groups right now that are mashing and melding different styles of music. And it's like some of the most popular shit actually. And still, you know, they're still honest and it's still good. It's not some creation of the industry. This is all coming from you. And there's a lot of groups out there. Actually, just recently, we interviewed Rad Key, and we interviewed Black Star Kids at Riot Fest. And I feel like you live somewhere in between those groups, but also doing your own thing too. Do you know Rad Key is a bunch of brothers from St. Louis? Okay. And Black Star Kids is kind of like hip hop, indie rock, punk, rock. Like they just played Riot Fest. They're blowing up. They have a new record coming out, and there's a lot of similarities. Like there's like a movement, if you will. Like maybe even if it's not connected or a scene, but like there's no reason it shouldn't be a novelty. It's not an anomaly. It's not a curiosity. It's just good music, you know. Right. So I like that you've kind of, you know, pushed up against that and not let people pigeonhole you based on what you used to do to now, which I think is really good.
I mean, they tried to, but it's like I really don't give a fuck.
You have to be tough and thick-skinned. It's really hard. But I saw the video for Rapture and I watched the behind the scenes video, and there's like the comments are wild. And you know, you're no stranger to that. Social media can be great and terrible. And I work in it, so I know very firsthand. But you know, it seems very cool. The people who are supporting you, you show love. The people who are not loving you, you clap back on a little bit, or people who have some shit to say, which I don't really ever understand that anyway. I think it's really refreshing that you're very engaging, no matter who is good or, you know, loves you or doesn't love you, you're like right there with them.
Oh, thank you. I'm just doing what I do. Generally,
beside just your own channels, do you enjoy social media, or is it just like a distraction?
No, I have a lot of reasons. I don't want to go too deep into it, but no.
No need to.
I think it's terrible for the youth, and I think it fucks with my brain too. So, no, I hate social media.
Yeah, there was just that whole thing where they were saying Facebook did their own study that said like Facebook and Instagram are terrible for kids and young people and teenagers and like bad for self-esteem and all these things.
Yeah. I suffer the effects of social media.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because I'm an artist. Like, because you have to promote your image. Today is more about image than anything. So like, I don't know. I'm not gonna go deep into it. I just really don't like it.
Duly noted. But yeah, man, Rapture is awesome. And again, I feel like again, this is just a continuation of where you came from and where you're going. And so I hear, you know, like you talked about rock and there's guitar shit, but I also hear, you know, you singing great. I hear some flows and some rhymes. I hear funk. I hear R&B. I hear all kinds of cool soul. I hear like cool, so, you know, trap. I hear all kinds of cool stuff, modern and old. So I think if that's the direction you're heading in, there's still going to be a lot of stuff for people to dig on.
Right. Yeah. I'm not done. I just began.
What are you listening to today, just for inspiration, or what are you digging on? Who's current?
I only listen to a rapper called Lucky.
All right.
I swear it's the only person I listen to. You're gonna listen to him and wonder how I come up with my music. I don't know either.
Everybody has, you know, a different vibe, and you know, you follow your own muse, right?
Right.
When you go to make a song now, obviously before when you had kind of a band dynamic, it was still you kind of writing a lot of the stuff and driving that stuff as the lead, the front man. But now, and you said you're doing all the producing and writing all the songs. When you go to make a track, what do you reach for first? Do you make a beat? Do you make a melody? Do you write a lyric? Do you pick up guitar? What do you do?
I start off with the instrumentals first. I'm very secretive about my whole process. Like, start off with the instrumentals, and then I kind of like find the right melody, the catchiest thing I could find, right, whatever fits, and then I add words to it that relate to anything that's going on in my life.
Word, and dig it. There's definitely a thread going through Rapture and a couple of the other songs. It does seem like some kind of thematic stuff going on with you. I don't know if that's going to continue in new stuff or the future.
What kind of theme are you picking up on?
I don't know. Obviously, there's kind of like the video. I don't want to read too much into a video. Doesn't have to explain the song. But I felt like it was like there's like a horror element. There's a romance element. There's kind of like a personal relationship thing. There seemed like some internal stuff you were going through that is not expressed in the song, just from the visuals. I thought were very creative and very well done between you and the director. So I watched the behind the scenes and took some notes. So I saw how you guys, how it was being made. Everything about it, it looked like, very fresh and cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, I'm digging it. I'm really looking forward to, I don't know if you're working on an EP or a full length record, but that's what you're building to.
I have too many songs. I just have to decide which ones I want to put out.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I used to joke, I used to say like every guitar player has like extra riffs and songs laying around, but I'm sure it's the same thing when you're making just any kind of tracks. Like I'm sure you just make music and then whatever.
My whole process of music is I record everything. I don't have a band with me right now, so I record everything by myself. So I have just a bunch of music sitting. I just have to pick which ones for the right time.
There you go. That kind of reminds me of Prince. Prince used to do that. He made music like every day.
I'm a little lazy. I don't have that.
There you go. I think that was like his whole life mostly, and Babes. But it's really cool to, sort of explore this new ground with you. And like you said, you're shutting out the critics, which is important, and you're just kind of finding your own way. Do you think eventually you're gonna, obviously we're living in a crazy, weird time, and you don't need to have a band again, but do you think you'll put together like a live band and go out and tour again?
Oh, of course. I'm looking for a band right now. I'm putting that together right now. I'm not going on stage with just a DJ, and no, that's not gonna happen. No.
Bass bar, not you. That's not you.
That's not me.
Nothing against that for people who do.
But since my music is all instruments, I want it to be a real show.
And you're going to continue to sing and play, right?
Yeah.
No reason you wouldn't.
No, not at all. I think I'm pretty good at a guitar.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, always. Yeah, man. Like I said, I always felt like it's a double-edged sword when you start out so young and people, get to know you when they know that first thing they latched onto. And now you're a different kind of, completely different kind of artist. Do you still have a relationship with the other guys from Unlocking the Truth? Are you still friends?
Yeah, no, we're still friends. We just growing up, and Jared moved to LA, and Alec is doing whatever he does. And I'm so like we keep in touch.
Are you still in Brooklyn?
Yep.
It's a fun place. I wonder what it's going to be like when this stuff is all over and we get back to get our lives back again. Do you just stay home and chill, or are you going out?
No, I'm always outside. I don't like staying home unless I'm making music. And sometimes making music is very confining. I stay in my thoughts a lot, so I like to be outside too.
In terms of lyrics, do you journal? Do you write lyrics down, or do you just kind of come up with stuff on the spot?
I come up with stuff on the spot. I think I learned that from like the modern version of how they record, like rappers. Like I like they're just going in there and saying what you got to say, like off the top of your head. That's kind of how I write my music.
Awesome. And then again, like I said, obviously you're growing up. I love the melodies and the recent stuff, or at least the recent stuff to us. The new stuff to us, it's not new to you, but I'm really digging where you're going with melody and stuff. I find that a lot of modern rock, just across everything, rock, pop, rap, I find like sometimes very monotone, and I like that you're trying to like take people on a journey vocally, because that's what stands out to me. That's what catches me. Interests me, but like sometimes people, they got 3 notes and that's all they got, right? And you're trying to do a little something else.
I really just make music that I would listen to, and I wouldn't listen to a lot of rock music today. I'm a fan of hip hop more so, but then there's some hip hop like I don't like, so I'm like in between. So I'm like, if I like it, then that's what it's gonna sound like. Like I come from an African American background, so there's a lot of R&B and a lot of stuff like that. As I grew as an artist, when I made Chaos, I was more so copying the heavy bands that were around me because they knew us as that metal band. As I grew and turned to, realize my own like sound and stuff, all the other influences from when I grew up came out. So that's what this is. And whatever I listen to today.
Right on. Did your parents play a lot of music around the house growing up when you were a kid?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, I heard music, but it wasn't like big. It wasn't like a big thing in my house. I got into music from wrestling and watching like animated music videos, like I said before in the past. I found metal by myself. But as living in African American household, you're always gonna hear like James Brown or some, what I mean?
The classics.
The classics.
James was crazy, man. He was crazy good. I know people focus on him as an entertainer and his crazy personality, but he was actually really a musical genius, musician himself. I think a lot of people don't know that. His live records are nuts. If you ever go back and you want to go explore that stuff, he did a couple of live records that are unbelievable.
Of course. I mean, I'm too lazy to actually do it, but I'm sure it's great.
Nice. At least you're honest. I like that, man. We all have our things. If you work really hard at something, you also want to not always work. Sometimes you need time off.
And now I'm taking time off because I have so much music and I need to just take a break, look at what's going on, and then come back to it.
What do you do to, when you're hanging out? When you're not going outside and you're not home making music, do you do any other hobbies or any other things while you chill? Nope.
I live a sort of fast lifestyle, It is what it is.
Got you. It's been a tremendous to catch up with you. Like I said, really congratulations on all your success. It's really great to see where you've come from and where you're headed. And I'm really excited to hear what's coming next.
I appreciate that.
Malxolm Brixkhouse. Thanks for hanging out with Ghost Cult, man. I appreciate you. Have a great night.
You too.